much. I'm really glad you've been able to join us on Sunday this week, and I promise we're going to make it really worth your while, because we'll be hearing about the life and times of a real Hollywood legend, Bette Davis. In the course of her long and very distinguished career, my next guest has won 2 Oscars, and she starred in some of the most memorable films ever made. Films like Dark Victory, Whatever Happened to Baby Jane, Jezebel, and All About Eve. So let's hear all about Miss Bette Davis. Miss Davis, it really is so good to have you on the programme, and I know that you've had an extremely busy time while you've been here, but do you like the City of London?
Oh, well, I love England. Of course you love London. Yes, I've spent a great deal of my life here, filming, and always am happy to come back.
And you had the most wonderful one-woman show, didn't you, at the London Palladium some years back?
Oh, yes, that was an extraordinary experience, that I could fill the Palladium. It was wonderful. Of course, it's the most gorgeous theater anyway. One of the great in the world.
What do you remember about the audiences there? Were they good?
Oh, they were marvelous. Absolutely marvelous. Well, the English audiences are marvelous.
Do you remember any particular reaction that they had to your show, or the things they wanted to know from you?
Well, I think the funniest question was, a woman asked me if I'd had my face lifted. So, she was way in the back of the Palladium, so she said, "Come here." Well, of course, she came down that aisle in terror. I don't think she knew what I was going to do to her. She finally arrived right at the stage and by the footlights, and I got down on my knees and I said to her, "Don't you think I would look better if I had?" That was my favorite moment. Favorite.
That's wonderful. Well, obviously, you have released your book. It's called This and That.
Yes.
And I'm just wondering what the motivation was for writing the book.
For writing this book, the motivation was to tell about my experiences with a stroke, and because I was able to recover as well as I have, and to hope it would encourage others. The stroke is called by doctors the insult, and it is. There is no part of your body, no muscle. It does not affect, and you must learn to walk again and do all sorts of things again. So I thought maybe because I had been successful in being able to be well again, it would encourage a lot of people. And that was my motive.
I was just going to say, you have made the most remarkable recovery. But what was the most terrifying thing during that slow process?
Not to work again. Oh, my terror that I never would make another film. Never again. And actually, most of the doctors didn't think I would. But I did.
And of course, you've just finished your 100th film, which is absolutely terrific. What is it, though, that just keeps you going, that makes you want to keep on going?
I love it. I love it.
How do you plan to celebrate your 80th birthday, by the way?
Well, my 70th, I wore blackface, a black afro wig, and wore all black clothes, of course, and had a black wreath on my front door. That was the 70th. Now, I have a little time till next April. So I don't quite know how I can top that. I don't know what I'll do.
That's wonderful. I tell you what, I was very amused to read in your book about the fact that 5 years ago you had a bed scene with Jimmy Stewart. Not bad.
Oh, yes, I did, and I was very embarrassed. Because I had not been in bed with a man for a great many years. And Catherine, who was on the set with me, said, "This I cannot wait to see. I can't imagine you in bed with a man." Well, either did I. But anyway, it's a nice scene.
Did you enjoy it?
Oh, no, it wasn't that kind of scene.
What a shame.
Yes, what a shame when Jimmy is right. It wasn't that kind.
Such a nice man.
Oh, terrific. Wonderful, wonderful time working with him. The greatest.
When you first went to Hollywood, you didn't have the so-called traditional glamorous film star appearance. Now,
No.
did that bother you at the time?
No, I just didn't think that was important. Well, what did that have to do with acting? If I could give a good performance, people from the theater, of course, never think of all the exterior things, which must be a part with a film career. So I just hoped that I would get good parts, and finally, I did.
Was it around the time, though, when you started in Hollywood that you started smoking? Because, of course, the cigarette has become quite synonymous with you.
Well, yes, I was a very very unimpressive human being to be called an actress. And I thought, well, maybe if I smoke a cigarette, it will make me more sophisticated. And then I added to that swearing a great deal, which made people feel I really possibly could be an actress, you see. But I was not met at the station by Universal Studios because I didn't see anybody who got off the train who looked like an actress. And I said, well, I had a dog with me. You should have known that I was an actress. Yes, well, it was quite a climb, though. But I didn't enjoy being called the little brown wren, I must say. I did not.
One of those early films, though, for which you won an Oscar was the film Jezebel.
Right.
And we have a short clip from that, which we just like to look at to remind ourselves of the movie itself.
Right.
I put on this white dress for you to help me tell you how humbly I ask you to forgive me. Press, I'm kneeling to you.
Don't.
To ask you to forgive me and love me as I love you.
Julie, please. Julie, this is Amy, my wife.
Good memories of that particular film?
Oh, well, that was the first big step as far as box office was concerned. And my first film with William Wyler, the greatest director the town ever had. And I eventually made 2 more with him. But that was the beginning of my name above the title and making money on my own for the company. That's what means you're a star, if you make money for the company.
That's all Hollywood wants to know about, is it?
Oh, no, I'm not insinuating that. I am just saying until you are in that position, you are not considered very important.
It was lovely seeing Henry Fonda looking so young and dashing.
Yes.
How was he to work with at that point?
Oh, Henry's an old a friend for many, many, many years. Oh, yes, he was lovely in it. Yes, lovely.
He took a bit of time off, though, from that film, didn't he?
Yes, for the birth of his first child, which was very difficult for me because I had to play all my scenes with him in close-up, with just kind of a round dot. But I once said to that child, who was Jane Fonda, I will now forgive you for the trouble you made. Since you are so great, I will forgive you for the trouble that you caused me.
Well, just talking about Jane's, now you went on to make a whole string of wonderful movies, but one that we'll always associate you with is Whatever Happened to Baby Jane. Now, that film almost didn't take place.
Well, because we couldn't get, Mr. Aldrich couldn't get any money for it because it was Joan Crawford and Bette Davis, and they said if you recast it with 2 younger and more popular screen stars, we'll give you money. And they said, we won't do it with those 2 old broads. So, as a matter of fact, I think I'm the one who said eventually 2 old broads, because Miss Crawford wrote me a letter saying, please do not refer to me ever again as an old broad. But that was the problem, getting the money for it.
Of course, one of your great hallmarks would be the Bette Davis eyes. Did your associates often pass any comment when you were acting with them?
Well, they were always jealous of me that I didn't blink. Most actors with the lights blink a lot. Matter of fact, Van Johnson wrote me a letter once. "You are horrific. You never blink. How did you do it?"
How did you react to having a pop song written about you?
Well, I was flabbergasted, and I thought it was fun, and I thought the words were pretty terrific. As a matter of fact, I wrote the girl who wrote the words and asked her how she knew me this well. But the big thrill of that was the reaction of my grandson, Ashley, that his grandmother was in the rock and roll area with a record. He looked at me completely differently from then on. Completely.
So it's a wonderful moment.
Yes.
Now, you've been married 4 times. Do you feel that your marriage has suffered largely because of this career that you were most dedicated to?
Well, I think that fame is your enemy, yes. And much as you try and protect the man, you cannot totally protect him from embarrassing things. And it's not easy, not easy.
Were there times, though, that you thought to yourself in the midst of a very busy schedule, I just wish I could be a stay-at-home type mum?
Oh, never. No, but I did. I was a stay-at-home mother with 3 children for many, many years, because by the time Bette was born, I was 39 and the career was made. So I had the complete joy of bringing and being home and bringing up my family. Oh, yes, it's one of the great parts of my life.
Although,
But I never felt like a stay-at-home mom. Mm-hmm. No. As a matter of fact, many women have laughed when I've said, well, after a few weeks of being a mother, which is a very big responsibility and lots of work, when I would go back to make a film, it would be like a holiday.
Glad to get back to work for a rest.
Well, it's a holiday, yes.
But
because I think the responsibility any woman has, or man has on their shoulders for another life is to be taken very seriously, very seriously.
I just wondered, do you have regrets that the career, albeit one that you enjoyed so much, really did take its toll, though, on your personal relationships?
Well, it did not leave me with a successful marriage, but I do not have regrets. You can't have everything, can you? And I had a lot, a lot.
You said in your book that you were in love with the idea of being in love, but rarely in love.
Well, I think looking back, that was a lot of it, a lot of the reasons. Because one never feels happier or that the world is a wonderful place to live in when you're in love. It's always been so. I think for every woman that is so.
Well, may I just thank you very much for the years of pleasure you've given us through your films and for the great pleasure you've given us for being with us this afternoon. Thank you very much indeed.
Did you show the cover of this book?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
It's Bette Davis.
No.
Thank you very much indeed. Well, just to show Bette Davis that I really do like the cover of the book, I'll hold it while I say thank you very much for your company this afternoon. I do hope that you'll join us next Sunday at the same time. From all of us in the studio, bye-bye.